And good morning from the office. It is Wednesday, September 6th, I believe. I know some of you guys got at me last time for getting the date wrong. I'm Richie Stone. I'm in for BKP today. He is on assignment. He's got this project up in Blue Ridge that I think is going to be pretty interesting to everybody. That's going to come later. As you know, some big changes here at FYNTV. We're up and running. Got some really exciting sports content. We did the Gilmer County show last night with Coach Casey Wingard. It's tough for those guys right now, but they're headed in the right direction. They got some real impressive underclassmen that are they're gonna build something there. They just got to get the system in. Lots going on news-wise. Here locally, the big story is the armed robbery up in Blue Ridge at the AT&T store. Sam, when did that happen? Was it Monday? Yeah, Monday. I think we have a picture of the suspects. Yeah, there it is. It's just crazy. Something you never expect, but then again, you never know. People passing through. I think the suspects were from out of state. I don't know if they were hurricane refugees or just passing through. Who knows? I'm sure it'll all come out eventually, but pretty wild. It's not every day we get a multi-county police chase over speeds excess of 100 miles an hour with the police throwing down tire spikes and just like something out of Cops or Live PD. So we'll be following that. We have reporters on the ground that are going to be able to get the very latest. Remember, this is a story you will not hear anywhere else. So definitely stick with us for your local stories. We are the voice of rural America. Now, as far as nationally, though, and something that also affects us is this Hurricane Irma. We're just now getting over the effects of Hurricane Harvey over there in Texas. It's going to be really expensive, lots of money being spent, and this recovery is just. There's still water. People are still underwater over there in Texas, and now we have Irma coming, and there's some. Do we have a picture? I think maybe 57 or 60. Yeah, they're 60. That thing is massive. It's a Category 5 hurricane. There have only been 3 Category 5s that have ever made landfall in the United States as a Category 5. There have been several that were, like Katrina, Rita. I think even last year, I can't remember the name, but they were all Category 5s. But by the time they reached the United States, they've been downgraded, but a full-on blown Category 5 has not made landfall since Hurricane Andrew in 1992, which was catastrophic. And that one, Irma right there, is about like Andrew. They're saying it's actually more powerful, and there's a path. Do we have the picture of the path? I don't know how far it has it going. I think it's number 57. Yeah, it looks like it's going right over Cuba up to the Florida Keys. And I saw one model. I don't know if you guys saw it back there in the control room. We got Sam and Rose, where it just goes right up the peninsula, up through, kind of splits the state of Georgia, which means that it would be headed right for us, which is kind of scary. I'm sure it'll be kind of like how our snowstorms are. Walmart and Ingles will be out of bread and milk, because we all know that when bad weather strikes, there's nothing better than a milk sandwich. But you got to feel for those folks in Florida. And then also what the bigger impact's going to be as Congress is now coming back to work here in early September after the summer recess. They've got President Trump has, and congressional leadership are attaching Harvey relief to the debt ceiling and to the budget if we can get that passed. But now this is going to be a whole new can of worms because we don't know what. I mean, this could be worse than Harvey. I mean, the flooding may not be as bad because they're better prepared for it in Florida, but the destruction and the fact that it might go straight up Florida. I mean, that's all Florida is. One big long peninsula, obviously, and then what it could mean for Georgia, Tennessee, going forward up through the Mid-Atlantic and Ohio Valley. Scary stuff, and the main thing is just to be prepared. But personally, I just hope it doesn't make it to South Bend, Indiana by Saturday night, or Ellijay, Georgia by Saturday night, because that would interrupt the television feed from Indiana to Ellijay, because the Georgia Bulldogs will be in South Bend in front of Touchdown Jesus. Freshman quarterback Jake Fromm will be starting, and it's going to be a big one. This is the first time I think ever that Georgia's played in Notre Dame, and I was reading, I want to say Chip Towers over at the AJC said that this is the toughest ticket in Georgia football history, which is saying something considering all the big games they've played in, bowl games, national championship, not national championship, but Sugar Bowl at least. For the national championship, tough tickets in New Orleans, but no, nothing more than this at Notre Dame. So that's going to be exciting. I'm really looking forward to that this weekend. But Irma might have other plans, so definitely stick with us. We will be updating it on our website, fetchyournews.com, and here on FYNTV. The folks over at the National Weather Service, we got a line in with them, and the main thing is just to be prepared because you never really know what's going to happen. So back to news of the day. If you watched the news last night, you probably would have gotten the impression that Donald Trump is once again a white supremacist. That's right, folks, a white supremacist. We have elected a neo-Nazi. Now, of course, that isn't true, but these folks in the media are so out of touch that they're literally treating this DACA decision like, I don't know, like Hitler himself is reincarnated. I know that sounds a little extreme, but they're saying it, and we have people on Twitter who have the little blue check marks by their name, which means they're important, saying that the country has elected a fascist, and that this is nothing but pure race because there's a pattern: Charlottesville, Joe Arpaio, now DACA, and never mind the fact that Donald Trump wasn't in Charlottesville swinging clubs against people, and never mind the fact that Joe Arpaio wasn't really convicted of he was convicted of a procedural crime for not obeying an order. It's not like it's not like he's Laurie Pritchett in Albany, Georgia, when Dr. King was marching. So for them to then draw that line to DACA, which Attorney General Jeff Sessions announced yesterday will be ending. However, they left it open with a 6-month window for Congress to do something. And back to the line they're drawing, it's kind of what we're used to this by the media. They are the kings of creating their own stories and creating their own self-fulfilling prophecy and then turning it into a narrative. It's creative writing 101. And it's like they've drawn this imaginary line going back even to the election where the heroes and the villains, the protagonist and the antagonist are clear. Donald Trump is the antagonist. Democrats are the protagonist out there fighting the good fight, protesting, doing the thing that's morally right. We'll get more into that, but it's so frustrating. We've got a lot of clips that are going to back this up. My man Don Lemon on CNN has become unhinged, to say the least. Also, we're going to get into Hillary Clinton, speaking of Democrats, has a new book out. I'm sure you've heard. It's called What Happened. It's basically her playing the blame game about the 2016 election. She's blamed everyone. Yeah, there's a picture. We'll show that again later, but I thought that was pretty hilarious. What happened? I happened. You can keep it up. She has blamed everyone from Macedonian hackers, whatever those people are, fake news, Putin, James Comey, of course Donald Trump's voters, Bernie Sanders voters. Bernie Sanders, that's who she went in on yesterday and made some news. Let's see, who else? The DNC, the media. Yeah, the media. She blamed the media for basically giving Trump favorable coverage. I mean, how laughable is that? So we're going to get into that. I find it astounding that she's the only person I know of that can come out with, I think, 5 books in the last, 15, 20 years. And it's like her biography changes each time to reflect which way the wind's blowing at that particular time. So that's that's always fun. And then finally, we're going to get into Russia, which we talked a little bit about yesterday. And this principle from a guy, Dinesh D'Souza, who is he did a movie called 2016 Obama's America. It's the second highest grossing documentary, I believe, or maybe it's political documentary of all time, only behind Michael Moore's Fahrenheit 9/11. And I've got a clip that we're going to play to close out the show of D'Souza speaking to a caller on C-SPAN about this principle called transference, which is the idea that you accuse people of doing and acting the way that you yourself act. And it's very fascinating when you apply it to this whole Russia scandal, because as BKP said yesterday, there's a lot of evidence of Russian collusion, vote tampering, obstruction of justice, things that Donald Trump has been accused of, even though there's no evidence, and it's led to this whole opposition research investigation from Bob Mueller and his team of 12 Democrat lawyers. But when you think about the things that we know from the Democrats and not only the primary and then the stuff through WikiLeaks and what happened in the general election and the fact that Obama told Putin to knock it off and that was going to be enough because they never thought Hillary would lose, you have to start wondering if this whole principle of transference isn't something that we see right in front of our eyes and we just don't realize it. It's very interesting stuff, and I'm excited to get into that. But as for now, we're going to hit a quick break. We've got a little bit of technical difficulty here with my computer, so I'm going to get that fixed during the commercial. When we come back, we're going to get into this DACA stuff, Jeff Sessions making his announcement, and the media reaction. So stay with us.